defensiveness. Okay, so your annoying energy is the Queen of Wands. For a lot of you guys could be dating an Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. This could be about your confidence as well, your ability to manifest, and it also could have a lot to do with what you want and what it takes to get to what you want. Doing exactly what it is that could get you to what you want. Because the Queen of Wands is the only queen in here that's very action oriented. She will get up out of her own throne to get what she wants. Okay, and the reason being is because of the Knight of Wands. For those of you that are interacting with somebody that's very fun and very passionate, I do see that there is there is something going on here. Even a significant age difference between you and this person, but it's a lot of passion. However, I feel like the relationship bit is the part where it gets a little fuzzy, because the Knight of Wands they're not commitment phobes. Okay, they can be, but the Knight of Wands is not a knight that really settles down and stops for a second to work on the hard, gory details. You want a Knight of Pentacles or even the Knight of Cups or the Knight of Swords for that. Now, the Knight of Wands, it's more of getting the passion up, raising the vibration, bringing in passion, having a lot of fun, and then, then going ahead and going off and spreading more of their light, more of their higher energy to other places, rather than settling and trying to build something long term. So you may be dealing with an individual that is potentially a player, or potentially someone that just has a hard time committing because they don't want to give up their freedom. Okay, so it's not that it's a bad thing, because sometimes you just don't want to settle down because you're enjoying your life as a single person, being able to do certain things without having to, to feel attached to somebody and responsible for a relationship, because that can happen too. So there could be an individual around you guys that's not really settling down easy. And I feel like there is this I want situation here with the Queen of Wands. Not saying that you guys are trying to force anything, but just be careful, because the Queen of Wands and the King of Wands have the potential to kind of do anything and everything possible to get what they want, and it could kind of leave them with an empty victory on their own, right? You think they were the rulers of the Five of Swords. However, they're not. But they, it's very similar with the energy. So this is all about doing and being, assertive, being more aggressive about how you do things. And there's nothing wrong with aggression and assertion. So let's just go ahead and jump into this. I'm spending a lot of time on it. You guys have your current situation being the Three of Pentacles. You guys are looking into the future and seeing what's of value, right? Seeing if there is even a future to begin to even contemplate and plan for. So for a lot of you guys, this individual that you're with, you have a lot of feelings for, obviously. You feel like there is something to even consider when this card comes up. So for a lot of you guys are trying to look at what future is even possible to gain with this individual. So for you guys in the future, or in your goal, what you guys want is an offer of love. You guys want to offer, not necessarily an offer of love, offer of commitment, offer of long-term commitment, something that will last you guys for a very long time. You potentially want to offer her or someone else something long-term. I feel like you guys may want to commit to somebody, or you guys want to be with somebody for a very long time. And I feel like it has a lot to do with making that step, saying the words, hey, I want to be with you for a long time, or waiting for someone else. And typically, you know how I feel about that, especially with the Queen of Wands coming up. It's saying about you waiting anymore. It's not about being passive. It's about going ahead and getting it. We're going to go ahead and go on to this now. But the thing that's keeping you from the Page of Pentacles here, okay, is the Tower. Now, the Tower is coming up because of, it's coming up as a reason as to why you guys haven't gotten the offer yet, or why you guys haven't received or haven't been able to give an offer to some individual. Okay, expressing your desire to be long term with them, or to have a long term relationship with them. Some sort of rapid change, some sort of serious change that's kind of hit you unexpectedly, and the reason why the change hit you unexpectedly here is because of some news, or not necessarily news. Page of Wands is news. The Page of Swords is about truth. Somebody told their truth to you, or spoke their truth to you, and it was very hard to hear potentially. Somebody was very open and honest with what they were doing, with whatever it is they need to say, and it really kind of was shocking. Okay, I don't think it was an argument, but I feel like there was somebody expressing their truth, and you didn't expect it to happen that way, or even be said in that way. So something happened, something went down, somebody said something. Somebody said something. Okay. Now, the best way to overcome the situation so that way you guys can get to a long-term connection, long-term relationship is to start. It's reestablishing hope by healing from the situation. Now, I feel like there is a situation where somebody may have hurt you. Somebody may have said their truth and it may have hurt you. But you have to recognize that what they were saying was their truth. And it's not meant to hurt you like directly. And now, they may have said some nasty things, and if they were calling you out your name, that's a little different, right? But if they're expressing from how they are, it's not intentionally to try and hurt you. So it's about really detaching from the situation, looking at what they said, and understanding that they were coming from their own point of view, and it's not meant to actually cause you any wounds. Because if that was the case, they wouldn't be with you. If that's if they really didn't, if they were really that horrible, then why would they even be in your life at that point? You know what I'm saying, Pisces? So I feel like that at this time, it's all about healing. It's all about really looking at the situation and reestablishing hope. For a lot of you guys, I feel like there is still hope in this relationship anyway, especially in regards to building a future with somebody. So I feel like it was more focusing on the healing aspect rather than the regaining hope aspect. Now, for your feelings, you guys have the Emperor. So y'all could be feeling very stubborn in your own right. And you guys could also be feeling like you guys are in control of your emotions. You guys are taking control and potentially a little bit aggressive. Not in a bad way, though. I get the sense that you guys have this focus of what you want. And there's a plan in place in regards to what you want to do. So in your emotions, I really feel like, okay, for a lot of you guys could be feeling something for your father. So it could be going on with your dad. So it could be some information that came up in regards to, your father. And that's why there is a time of healing, a lot of, giving back, right? So there could be something going on here with your family. But if this has nothing to do with your father, guys, then I do get this feeling that this is about potentially another individual that is very masculine, and someone that really asserts their energy, and they're in your heart. I feel like they're in your feelings. They could potentially make you feel happy. But I feel like also, guys, you're just very much in control. You feel like you're in control of your life. You feel like you're not interested in budging, because when you guys stick to something, you guys get to totally stick to it. It's very interesting. In a fixed sign, you're very changeable, but when you want to stick with something, you guys do. But in your host of fears, you have the Knight of Cups. So this is your energy here, guys. This is your card, actually, the Knight of Cups. So you want to be free. You want to focus on the love, or you want to focus on your heart's desire. I really feel like with the Knight of Cups here, you guys really want to focus on the desire that your heart's craving. Okay, you want to focus on making a beeline for what it is that you want to get to. And I feel like you guys want to feel more loved and more loving, and even feel a bit more support. But I do get this feeling that you don't want to be told one thing, being said something, and then being totally betrayed because the person doesn't know how to keep their promises. Because the Knight of Swords, the Knight of Wands, like I said, you're interacting with somebody that is having a hard time settling down, and you have and here in your hopes and fears, you have another individual that's saying, "Hey, I feel X, Y, and Z for you," but they don't really put action in their words. With their words, their words speak more than their actions. Okay, so I do get this sense here, guys, that there is this individual, most importantly, that you want to have a long-term commitment with, but you want already, and you're really you're making plans to make it happen. And I feel like this individual is just they're not settling down. And I feel like they may have said something to you that possibly it has a lot to do with a long-term commitment. That maybe they said they're not ready, but this individual is showing to be kind of not focused on a relationship as much as you are right now, and that could be true and it could not be true, right? You have to communicate with your individual. At the end of the day, communication, big time, is a big important thing. Communicate with your partners, because you may not know, right? You may not know, but if this is a communication that you got from your partner, then you know what's up, right? This is about healing, though. You might want to heal that energy first before you jump into a relationship with somebody, just to be sure if you could truly, get over it. And I feel like you do. I feel like you do. But after the Tower comes the Star, so that the healing needs to be done first. Now, for your outcome, you guys have the Nine of Wands. So this is really feeling exhausted, really feeling tired. I really feel like, honestly, guys, that when the Nine of Wands comes up, that it's not just defensive energy. You've been putting a lot of effort into making a relationship with this individual, and they made it hard, they made it difficult. It's tried your patience so many times, and I feel like you get to this point where you want to throw in the towel. But I can also get the sense here that you may not want to. You may want to hold on just a little bit longer, just to see what's going on, because you didn't come all this way just to toss it away, right? You've been working very diligently with this individual to get to a place where you guys can stay, you guys can start something, that's of value, that's tangible, that's going to build a legacy potentially. So with all this work with this individual that's being hard behind about settling down, that's hard. All right, what did you guys get for the wisdom of the Oracle? Wow, regeneration. So this is practically the Star and the Tower all together, guys. Because after the, like I said, after the Tower comes the Star. The healing comes. When the disaster happens and the healing is provided. So whatever happens, right, whatever the situation has brought up, this is a test of the integrity of the current relationship that you guys have before moving into something long term, right? Before even attempting to go to the long term spectrum. This is the real test to see if this is a test to really see if there's a relationship left to build off of after everything has crumbled because of somebody saying something, because of some truth that has been exposed or has been expressed. So I do get the sense here that this is about regeneration now. This is about healing and getting back on your feet and really, working through the certain truth that you may have received recently. Okay, so that honestly, that totally makes sense with this reading. I know I always sound surprised, but it's always fascinating to see how the cards will always match the reading. It's beautiful. I've had some cards that totally just contradict the reading, and it's like, what? Oh my gosh. But it's so fascinating to see how they just come out and they just match the reading. But that's what they're trying to say. You got to give some room for breathing. You got to give some room for healing, especially for yourself. Like the relationship is always going to be there, but it's going to require time. It's always going to be slow, right? Ace of Pentacles, and you're starting something new. That's a slow process. You got to get patience with that. Right now, you're going to need to apply. You're going to want to apply patience at this moment, especially when there's healing that's involved. You want to be fully healed, at least healed in a decent amount. The whispers of love is this: you are limitless. Recognize this truth. You could do anything you choose to do, and that is totally true, especially within your emotions right now with your Emperor. The Emperor and the Star. That's what they pretty much high five each other and say. There is nothing that's keeping you from being able to manifest a relationship, but you wanna come from a good place of intention, and you wanna heal first, right? And utilize the truth that has been received, because you don't want to just completely discard that, right? There's something about it. There's a reason why everything happens, and the reasons why everything happened is to make us better. And I feel like the truth that was received here is meant to help build the relationship in some sort of way. If it's a negative message, it's still something to help you with making decisions or planning for the future. Okay, because you're still planning for the future. So with all of this combined, I really feel like there is something that needs to be overcome, especially with this page of wands. We don't completely discard this truth. Utilize this for when you plan for the future, as you're healing, because there's something about that truth that that came up for a reason. Okay, and whenever it's set off in yourself, right? Whenever it hurt within you, it was going to require healing or maintenance or balance being restored. It all has a purpose. Okay,